Hello friends, welcome to Animal World. Look, today I bring you a mysterious box full of soft animals that we can stretch. Let's start with the first one. Hello friends, and it looks like we have a carnivorous dinosaur. Check out this cool toy, it's pretty big, and as you can see, it has all the details. Also, if we press in the middle part, it makes a sound. This time, the dinosaur we got is a Carnotaurus. We know this because of the two horns on its head, which are very similar to the horns of a modern bull. As you can see, it's characterized by having a large jaw full of sharp teeth. The little figure is soft, so we can move its jaw. Nom, 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 nom. Its eye is green, very striking, and as you can see, it has all the details of its skin. It was a bipedal dinosaur that walked on its hind legs, and it used its two front legs to help itself when eating. It also has different spikes on the top part of its body, ending in a long tail. This dinosaur, of course, was a great predator and could face the mighty Tyrannosaurus rex. Let's leave it here and continue with a different model. Let's see. Look, here we have a soft dinosaur, one of those we can stretch. Wow, it's super soft. The inside is filled with kinetic sand that allows us to squish it, shape it, and above all, stretch it. Super cool. This time, it's about the greatest predator that has ever existed on planet Earth. The great Tyrannosaurus rex, also known as T-Rex. It comes in red and also with all the details. The T-Rex's jaw was super big and strong. It was full of sharp teeth, and inside it, even a lying down child could fit. Also, it was a huge dinosaur. It could be more than 12 meters long. As an interesting detail, we can say that even though it was a great predator, sometimes it had trouble hunting because its body was very heavy. Now let's look at another different animal. And look what we have here. It's a type of reptile, it's a snake, and I love its color. It's also super soft, and as you can see, the inside is full of cork balls. What I like most about soft snakes is that we can stretch them a lot, and we can even play to see who can throw it the farthest. As you can see, it's quite big, and it has all the details of its skin. And here, we can see its tongue. Outside, as you can see, the tongue of snakes is split in two, right at the tip. How cool, friends! We can also see its piercing eye. Also, I think this snake glows in the dark. What do you think if we turn off the lights? Wow, look, how cool, friends! Now it looks like a radioactive snake. It's glowing green. Also, we can see a darker stripe right in the middle. Some snakes are very venomous. Their venom could even kill a human being. Normally, they don't usually attack. They only attack if they feel threatened, so if you see a snake, it's better to stay away from it. They usually stay crouched in the grass, on the ground, or in the bushes, and suddenly, wham, they come out to attack. Many of them hunt their prey by strangling them with their tails. And we continue with another type of animal. Let's see what comes out of the box now. Wow, we have another different dinosaur, and it's also huge. I love the little figure because, besides being big, it has a lot of details. Plus, it's also soft, we can squeeze it right in the middle. As you can see, we have another carnivorous dinosaur. This time, it's a Dimetrodon. It was a quadrupedal dinosaur that walked on all four legs and had a long tail. But, as you can see, its most distinctive feature was the crest of spines it had, which could reach over 1.5 meters in length. It also had a powerful jaw with lots of teeth. Its bite was spectacular. No prey could escape from it. As you know, there is another dinosaur that also has a crest of spines. It's the Spinosaurus. The difference between the Dimetrodon and the Spinosaurus is that the Dimetrodon walks on all four legs, while the Spinosaurus walks only on its hind legs. Well, now we have another giant dinosaur here. We'll leave it next to the Carnotaurus. They could have a great battle between them. And we'll continue with another different animal. Look, but what is this, friends? We have a super soft animal. It's also a Tyrannosaurus Rex. We can squish it and stretch it, but the best thing about this toy, friends, is that it can turn into a ball. Yes, friends, into a ball. It's like a balloon. We can blow air into it and inflate it as much as we want. For that, we're going to need an accessory. Look, we have a white straw. We need to insert it inside our dinosaur. Carefully, push it in. And now what we have to do is blow through the straw. So that this T-Rex inflates. Here we go. Look how it's turning out, friends. We can inflate it a little, or we can inflate it a lot like I did with this one. Now we take out the straw and the air stays inside. Look, our T-Rex has transformed. Wow, help! I've eaten too much. Its body is completely deformed. Here we can see its hind legs and its tail, which comes with this hook so we can play with it. Wow, it's like a balloon or like a ball. I love it because we can have so much fun with it. Wow. This dinosaur is way too crazy. The best part is that we can also let the air out as many times as we want. We just have to insert the straw again, and all the air comes out. Super cool, right? Friends, I love it. Let's leave it over there and continue with another type of animal. Here we also have another gigantic dinosaur. It's huge. As you can see, it's a herbivorous dinosaur. It comes with this tag. It looks like we're in a great valley. A Tyrannosaurus Rex is threatening a herbivorous dinosaur. It better run. And this time we have a Stegosaurus. As you know, the Stegosaurus. It was characterized by the large plates it had on the top of its body. It also had a long tail, and the plates went from the back of its head, all along its body, to the end of its tail, with several very sharp spikes. It used these to swing its tail from side to side in order to defend itself from predators. As you can see, the little figure comes with a lot of details, different colors, and even different textures. Up close, we can see its little face. As you can see, it was characterized by having a very small skull compared to its large body. It had a strong beak right here on its mouth. It used this hard beak to dig into the ground and eat the toughest roots it could find. Those were its favorites. Well, now we have another gigantic dinosaur for our collection. The previous one was a carnivore, and now we have a herbivorous dinosaur, also gigantic in size. And we still have some little animals left inside the box. Here we have a very different animal. It's a brown bear. It's also super soft, one of those we can stretch, and the inside contains little cork balls. As you can see, we can appreciate the long fur of our bear, as well as its strong jaw with some pretty sharp fangs. Bears, in general, don't usually attack humans. They only do so when they feel threatened or when they see their cubs are in danger. You also have to be very careful if you go to an area with bears. Don't bring food since the bears might be hungry. And if they smell our food, they might come toward us to eat it. That would give us quite a scare. Another interesting fact about bears is that they usually hibernate during the winter months. They don't like the cold very much. Friends, we'll stop here and take out the last dinosaur from our mystery box. It's a much smaller figurine. It's not made of soft plastic, it's made of hard plastic. It comes with this dinosaur expedition tag. And as you can see, we have a carnivorous dinosaur. It's the famous Velociraptor. Velociraptors walked on their hind legs. They had two much smaller front legs, and as you can see, their fingers were quite thin and had strong claws. Its jaw was quite large, full of sharp teeth. They could measure about 2 meters in length and height, and they also had a long tail that they used to help keep their balance. Velociraptors had a rather slim body, which allowed them to run at great speed. Therefore, even though they weren't very large dinosaurs, they could hunt many prey, since they were so fast that no prey could escape from them. Another interesting detail is the sickle-shaped claw they had, which was super cool. And now, friends, we've finished looking at all the animals in the box and we're done with today's video. Here we have all the animals that came out of the mystery box. We got a bunch of different types of dinosaurs in different sizes. Some soft, some rigid, and I love that. Also, we got a reptile like this snake and a mammal from our present time, the brown bear. If you liked today's video, friends, you can help me by giving me a super like, a thumbs up, and I invite you to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. And now, friends, I say goodbye to you. See you in the next video with more fun surprises.
Goodbye.
Hello everyone, and welcome to a new video where we will get to know new dinosaurs. We will learn the name and characteristics of all those hidden inside the mystery box. Also, as in previous videos, we will use dinosaur books and encyclopedias. You already know that I really like to use them, because inside we have a lot of interesting information about all of them. So let's open the box to see everything that's hidden inside. For now, we can already see a big carnivorous dinosaur. It's a photograph of the great Spinosaurus, characterized by the large crest of spines it had on the dorsal part of its body. Let's see what's hidden inside. And look, we have a lot of different specimens. Let's take them all out to learn their names and their characteristics. Let's see which one is the first to tell us. And it looks like we have a very colorful dinosaur. It's a feathered dinosaur, which means its whole body was covered in feathers. Its name was Carnotaurus. As you can see, its feathers are much thicker on its front legs, but especially on its tail. They come with very colorful feathers. Let's take a look at the features. As you can see, it also had a crest of feathers on the top of its head and didn't have a mouth, but actually had a strong, rather pointed beak at the tip. In the figurine, we can see all the details, and I also love it because it's articulated. We can move the hind legs, the tail slightly, and what I like the most, we can move its front arms up and down as if it could fly. Also, at the end of its front legs, we can see that it had 2 fingers. A curious fact about Carnotaurus is that despite having wings or something very similar to wings, it couldn't fly. That is, this animal could glide from one tree to another, but it couldn't take flight. In the encyclopedia, we have more information about other feathered dinosaurs, and it asks us, dinosaurs or birds? This is because many of them were the missing link between dinosaurs and the birds we know today. Here we have an illustration of Caudipteryx. It tells us that it also used its wings to flap them vigorously in front of an enemy. We also have information about the Oviraptor and other feathered dinosaurs, and we continue with a different specimen. Let's see what we get. Now we have a herbivorous dinosaur. It's the famous Parasaurolophus. It's one of my favorite herbivores, especially because of its unique physical features. At first glance, what stands out the most is the large horn it has on the back of its head. It was able to make sounds, and it used these sounds to communicate with the rest of the herd, especially when they felt threatened. Its mouth was quite small, since it only fed on plants, leaves, and grass. As you can see, the central part of its body was quite robust and capable of standing both bipedally and quadrupedally, that is, on its hind legs, or also walk on all fours, especially when it wanted to reach a high speed. Let's see the next one. It looks like we have another herbivorous dinosaur, one of the most famous ones. I really like this figure because, as you can see, it's one of the soft ones. The inside is filled with Orbeez beads. Squishing it is very relaxing, and we can also stretch it.
This time we have the great Triceratops, known for its crown-shaped skull.
Also, around the edge of its skull, we can see a bunch of spikes that it used along with its 3 horns. Defensively, the Triceratops. It also had a strong beak at the tip of its mouth, which it used to dig in the ground in search of food. Its body was quite robust, and it was a quadrupedal dinosaur that walked on all 4 legs. As you can see, the 2 horns on the top were bigger than the 3rd horn, which was located on the top of its nose. Also, the Triceratops lived in herds or groups, so if a Tyrannosaurus rex came, they could all defend themselves together. Next dinosaur, voila, appears. Right now, we have a marine reptile coming. It has swum from the mysterious box to us, and as you can see, we can also stretch it. What catches my attention the most is the large jaw, super wide and full of sharp teeth. It had 4 large fins and a long tail to be able to swim at high speed. This is the great Mosasaurus, a giant of the oceans capable of catching large prey. An interesting fact is that the Mosasaurus could eat both marine animals and some flying reptiles. For example, on many occasions, the Dimetrodon would approach the seas in search of food, so the Mosasaurus would take advantage by making big jumps and catching its prey. How interesting, right? Another one over here. Let's see the next one. And finally, it looks like we got a big carnivorous dinosaur. Honestly, I really like this figure a lot. It's not one of the soft ones. On the contrary, it's made of hard plastic, but it comes with a lot of details. Look, up close, we can appreciate different textures and shades on her skin. The Spinosaurus is one of my favorite carnivores. As you know, it had a large crest of spines on the top of its body, and it was also able to walk both bipedally and quadrupedally. Its jaw was super big, quite long and wide, full of sharp teeth. A jaw very similar to that of modern crocodiles. But in the case of the Spinosaurus, it was gigantic. Its size was truly impressive. It could reach about 17 meters from the tip of its mouth to the end of its tail. That was for the male specimens. Adult. In addition, it was an exceptional swimmer. It loved diving into the water in search of food. That's why it was also called the sail dinosaur, because it would submerge its whole body, leaving only the crest of spines exposed. And therefore, it looked like a sailboat. We'll leave this great carnivore here for now. Oops! And let's continue with a different one. Let's see what we get now. And now we have one of the greatest predators that has ever existed on planet Earth. Without a doubt, it's the great Tyrannosaurus rex. As you can see, its jaw was full of sharp teeth. It had a total of 60 teeth, and some of them could reach up to 20 centimeters. This figure comes articulated. It can move its lower jaw slightly, although I would have liked it to open much wider, since inside we can see its tongue. The skin of the Tyrannosaurus rex was very scaly. An interesting fact about it is that it had a very large and heavy tail. It used it to counterbalance its head and thus maintain its balance, since its head could reach more than 1.5 meters in length. Another very curious characteristic of the Tyrannosaurus is that its front legs were tiny compared to the rest of its body, and it only had 2 fingers on each of them. As you can see, the hind legs were really strong since they had to support the weight of this huge body, which could reach about 14 meters in length. Impressive.
We'll leave it here.
We have only a few copies left inside the box, but look at this impressive figure. It comes articulated in a lot of parts, and as you can see, it has large bony plates on the top of its body. Does that mean we're looking at the unmistakable Stegosaurus? Its bony plates were much larger on the upper central part of its body. Also, it used its long tail defensively, as you can see at the tip. It had 4 large spikes, which it used to swing its tail from side to side and defend itself from predators. The Stegosaurus could reach about 9 meters in length and lived on planet Earth during the Jurassic period, more than 155 million years ago. This figure is quite heavy. It can also move its head from side to side, but what I like the most is the color of its eyes. Also, if we move its head, it looks like it's following us with its gaze.
The best part is that on the top there's a button so we can use the big defensive tail swipe.
If we turn it from one side to the other, as you can see, it can move its tail. The harder we press, the faster it can swing it.
Impressive. We only have a few specimens left. It looks like this dinosaur hasn't been born yet. We need to press on the top to see what's inside. 1, 2, and 3, and look and see. It's a little dinosaur still forming by the shape of its head. I would say it's a Styracosaurus, the Styracosaurus, as you know. It had a crown-shaped skull, just like the Triceratops, but it only had 1 horn on top of its nose. So let's leave it inside so it can keep growing until it's time for it to hatch. And now we have the last one to see, and it looks like we have a big carnivorous dinosaur here. This time it's called Carnotaurus. It got this name because of the 2 horns on the top of its head, which resemble the horns of a big bull. As you can see, it was also very large, and just like the great Tyrannosaurus rex, its front legs were very small compared to the rest of its body. However, it had 4 fingers, not 2 like the great Tyrannosaurus rex. An interesting fact is that the head of Carnotaurus was so big that its sides were flattened to lighten the weight of its head. And now, friends, we've finished today's video. Here we have all the dinosaurs we've learned about. If you like this video, you can help me by giving me a super like, a rejected little hand, and I invite you to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. And now I say goodbye to you. See you in the next video with more amazing dinosaurs. Goodbye.